So today I'm going to be talking about Soldier Sailor by Claire Kilroy, my fifth read from the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist. Now I don't know if it's just me, but novels about motherhood seem to have been at the forefront in the literary world for around about the past 3 years. I feel like that could also be the reason why this novel was overlooked when it came to the Booker Prize. Maybe the market felt a bit saturated about novels around motherhood. However, when it comes to all of those novels around the themes of motherhood, could Soldier Sailor be the pinnacle of its genre? So here's the blurb. We follow a nameless protagonist in the early days of motherhood. Throughout the novel, all we know her as is Soldier. The novel explores the clash between the fierce love a new mother has against the seismic shift that is happening to her identity. Kilroy is portraying in this novel the raw, and I mean the honest and raw portrayal of motherhood. The protagonist's marriage starts to strain as she is grappling with questions of love, autonomy, and creativity. Amid smiling at her baby, who is known as Sailor throughout the novel, she is mentally composing her own suicide note. Amid all the love and pain and desperation and frustration, Soldier meets a man from her past. He is also a father, and can he offer her a lifeline to the woman that she used to be? So that's it. That's kind of the blurb. This is a novel about new mothers, about raising a baby into a toddler and everything that comes with that process. The changes in identity, the changes in body, how it affects a woman mentally, what that process is like. And Kilroy is leaving sort of no stone unturned as to your kind of emotional turmoil a new mother goes through. It is raw, it is honest, it is funny, very, very funny, and it is very, very powerful. So let's crack on with what did I like and what didn't I like. What I liked, the writing is stunning. The writing is absolutely brilliant. We feel everything, every emotion. To start with, it took a little bit of a while for me to get into it, especially as I've been doing a lot of novels back to back recently. But yeah, the writing is so good. Before I knew it, I was so in the protagonist's head. I was just there with her. I was feeling everything. The frustrations when she goes shopping, the frustrations of just trying to get a toddler ready to go out in the pram or get the toddler in the car, going around IKEA, and how maddening and frustrating how it is like sieging into battle every single day. Whew, the writing just gets it spot on. Honestly, after reading this novel, I was absolutely exhausted. I mean, we feel her frustration, her exhaustion, her pain, her bereavement, her grief. We feel her resentment, and also we feel her guilt. It is stress-inducing, it is tough, but it is also heartbreaking, and there are so many moments throughout this novel where I just felt it. Unrelated side note, but the protagonist is also a massive David Bowie fan, and that is also a very big tick in my book. There's also a really good commentary on gender taking place throughout. It's a very, very smart novel. Now, of course, some may argue that it's a little bit one-sided, but of course it's one-sided. It's her perspective, it's her raw feelings, thoughts that she is putting down on paper. So of course it's going to be her experiences, of course it's going to be one-sided in that sense. But if you really look through the cracks, if you look at it in detail, you can see how the novel is very cleverly sort of allowing those moments of her maybe being a little bit irrational to sort of come through. Those small few glimpses where you may start to take her husband's side before he says something stupid and it all goes back. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so cleverly done. I think what I'm trying to say is it is ultimately incredibly nuanced and very well balanced. I didn't all the way through feel like she was in the right. Now, I don't know, maybe if you are a mother, you may be looking at this book and you may be thinking that she is in the right in its entirety, which is fine because you're connecting in that way. The way I connected with her is I felt at times that she was maybe being a little bit unreasonable considering her husband couldn't understand her perspective because he's not going through what she's going through. However, don't get me wrong, he is very much a bit of a useless husband and he needed to step up a lot more. But yeah, so I think what I'm getting at is that depending on maybe your gender, depending on your age, depending on your life experiences, it is so nuanced and well balanced, this novel, that there are tiny little cracks and things that you are going to sort of gather and sort of put emphasis on yourself. And yeah, for me, there were moments where I was a bit like, oh, that seems a bit a bit harsh on him, and to be fair, then he would do something really stupid. I'll be like, stop being a dick. But yeah, it's really good. Also, the ending is wonderful. It takes this bit of a shift in its last sort of act, and I just thought the way it sort of built and built and built and what it was saying and its ideas around love, it is such a philosophically rich novel. It is so many times I had to put it down and take a moment just to think. It made me deeply ponder on the ideas of motherhood and that transformation and how hard it must be to within an instant have your identity as you know it completely stripped away from you, especially when we're looking at the eyes of this protagonist and what she's feeling and what she's thinking, that complete seismic shift that has happened to her. Yeah, and I had to step back. I had to think about all my friends who are mothers and what they were going through. And yeah, the novel, it does its job and it does its job well. Now, I don't have kids, so I have absolutely no idea of what raising a newborn is like. I have 3 nieces, but I'm not going to insult you by making that kind of comparison. But this novel achieved something momentous. It made me feel that connection between a mother and a newborn. For all its joys and all of its horrors, it made me feel that. And in a small way, this novel has made me understand it a little bit better. And that's amazing. If a novel can make me, a man in my late 30s without kids, understand that connection a little bit better, make me understand something that is actually almost impossible to describe, I mean, that's impressive. Okay, I just need to pause right there because I cannot believe, and I had it in my notes, but I must have just got caught up in rambling constantly. I cannot believe I didn't talk about in my likes how funny this novel is, or I didn't stress it enough. This novel is so funny. It is laugh out loud funny at times. Her observations on being a parent, it isn't all sort of doom and gloom and turmoil and stress. She is able to highlight the absolute humour within what being a young mother is like as well. This novel is constantly funny as well, and that just further lends to how well balanced it is. What didn't I like? Now, before I get into what I didn't like, I want you to understand this. This is a 5-star book. I thought it was a fantastic book. It achieved its aim and the brief and what it set out to do so incredibly well. The fact that it was missed off of the booker list is absolutely criminal. I cannot believe it. I know Ben Reeds has been banging on about this book for a long time. I think Ben Reeds also said that it absolutely deserved to be on the booker long list, and I wholeheartedly agree. But I do have one tiny thing that I think could have, I don't know, personally for me, made the novel a little bit stronger. I think I just wanted a tiny bit, don't come at me with pitchforks, a tiny bit more story. Just something a little bit more for me to hook my teeth onto. Something maybe happening in the background. Something that's maybe there that's slowly building throughout. It has a kind of plot thread with the husband and their marriage that is within there, but just, I don't know, just something a little bit more. That is me being incredibly nitpicky, and that is me talking about me trying to make a book that is already fantastic, maybe up there in the best I've ever read. Do you see what I mean? Like, what would make this book absolutely incredible, like knockout incredible, one of the best books ever? And I think that would be it. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this is a 5-star book, and I thought it was fantastic. And I do understand that this novel isn't about that. You know, it's not about its story. It's about making the reader feel and experience the things that young mothers experience. I totally get that. It is purely a personal thing. I'm probably completely on my own in that regard, but do let me know if there's anything you thought could have been like sort of added to the story in that sense. So there you go. That is my brief review of Soldier Sailor, my 5th read from the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist, and without a doubt, my favourite. I've got one more left. I can't see the one I've got left beating this one. This has truly been the standout from the shortlist so far. I will say that the others, or the other novels on this list, may have been doing things more politically, sort of culturally, but I do think that you cannot deny the raw power and feeling that this novel gives you. And if you get in the groove of it and you kind of connect with it, it hits you. You go on one hell of a ride. For some, do you know what? If someone said to me that they found this novel a little bit boring, I mean, Do you know, you've just got to get in the groove of it. I think you've got to be in the right headspace and you've got to allow yourself to sort of connect with it, because the events that we follow throughout this novel, they're quite mundane little things, but that's kind of the point. These mundane things are huge and massive when it comes to young mothers. But, you know, on face value, if you're just looking at it about what actually happens in the novel and someone said they found the events a little bit boring and things like that, I don't think I would, you know, say that they were completely crazy. I would just say they weren't able to sort of connect to the writing and the sort of the emotional core of what this novel is driving at, if that makes any kind of sense. Anyway, I'm completely rambling now. Have you read Soldier Sailor? And if so, what did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please let me know in the comments below. And of course, I hope you're well and I hope you're enjoying whatever you may be reading, and I'll see you all on the next one.